Hey, welcome. Today I have a very special guest, Natasha, where she's going to share with you some amazing tips and things you can do to overcome stress and anxiety. Before we get into the video, make sure you hit that subscribe button and leave a comment below on your thoughts about this video. I've been meditating for 8 years, for 6 years now in
It's
the
good.
morning. Uh, but lately, I haven't meditated as much as I would like to in terms of time wise. I meditate for about 5 minutes, which normally I used to do like 15, 20 minutes. So
It's
now I'm
fun. It's
doing a little bit
fun
less, but
time.
I got to get back on it.
That's good. Well, with the meditation, because of the self-soothing phrases, it's giving yourself kindness as well. And if you're not always comfortable with doing that, and some people can feel there's a reluctancy there's a bit of a resistance. Doing what you feel right. So when I say welcome it as best I can, it's just allowing it to just be there. Let me just welcome the emotion and not try and fight with it like we try and do. We try and fight with it. But if we're able to sit with it, welcome it the best we can, and just say it's okay. And I think that's a great phrase to be able to introduce, because we're saying it's okay that I feel like this. I'm not going to try and fight with you. I'm just going to allow it to be there and see if I can befriend you, basically. Tend and befriend is being able to talk to yourself how you would talk to a friend.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I can see why it's very powerful because, emotions that are not, we are not aware, they are stored in the body, and then it can go into different places. And that's why it makes so much sense that just paying attention to it and accepting it will absolutely help. 1000%. I love it. That's amazing. That's just right there. There's some awesome tips that we already covered. Um, yeah, and so you, Natasha, you have a coaching program as well where you teach people one-on-one, and this is for faster results. Um, and of course, when you
Absolutely.
work with one-on-one, you get faster results because you have somebody guiding you, and it's a different. So, how does different differentiates like this link that I have in the description? This one course that you have, uh, it's different from the course that you're one-on-one. So what's the difference, and what this one course that I have in the link in the description, which is to manage stress and anxiety, what does it have so that people, if they are interested to, you know, get more of you, and what does it have in a nutshell?
So with the mini course, it allows you to manage stress and anxiety, but we're also using perspective thinking as well, and drawing back to when we were a child again. So we're not having this rudimented way of thinking about things, of what we usually do. We're bringing in curiosity. And the more we're able to do that, we're not trying to come from a place of solution. Have to figure this out right now. I have to think of this right now. We're causing so much stress on ourselves, which is creating this cycle over and over again. But the more we can bring in this, which I bring in perspective thinking, and we've got overcoming stress and anxiety, being able to manage with the practices that I teach, but I also teach non-directional as well as directional. And we've talked a little bit about this, where I've given you some things that you can do, like self-soothing phrases, some questions that could be quite helpful that are related to perspective thinking. And the more we're able to introduce that, you'll be able to come up with your own answers, but it's coming from a place of feeling. It's coming from a place of your inner knowing, because you know it's your part of your higher self, really. And the more we're able to
Wow.
connect on that level, and it even include that in this stress and management course, because I feel it's important to do that. And it certainly helped me being able to do that, coming from that place So bringing the perspective in, understanding the mind and body connection, the process of it. So we go into a little bit CBT, understanding, breaking down the thoughts, why you think the way you do. So then it will help you to work out why you think that way. What is the emotion behind it and the action? And things like this will help you in your everyday life. So you don't get stuck in this cycle, recognizing the pattern and behavior and being able to say, even if you go into that pattern, that's okay. So same when I go into a pattern, I recognize this. I might say to myself, Tash, you're doing it again. And that's a good thing, because then you have observation, you're building self-awareness. And the more you practice mindfulness and self-compassion, mindfulness helps to rewire the neurocognitive parts of the brain for you to think and feel more positively. And there's a lot of scientific research when it comes to self-compassion that you'll be able to find as well. Mindfulness as well. So there's so much research that shows you that this works. And it's the only thing that's a positive motivator, which is self-compassion. They did it on the military as well, where they found out before the military were going out to deployment, they were feeling very anxious and worried.
Oh, wow.
So they did this study with self-compassion, and they saw the difference, that they felt more positive about it because they were able to give themselves more kindness. And it wasn't a way of, you know, putting your hand on your heart. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. We could just be recognizing that, acknowledging and saying, I'm struggling right now. Sometimes we don't do that. When we are struggling, we'll just go into this whole great big catastrophizing over what's happened and beating ourselves up, being really unkind. But by recognizing and acknowledging it, that's exactly what I teach, just recognizing how you're feeling and knowing what steps you need to take in order to overcome it. And it's been so revelation, just really sort of like a revelation for me, that this is why I do what I do, because it works. And that's what's in my mini course.
I love it. You know, before I had this one channel, I was doing a lot of meditation on my Portuguese channel, and it was something that I always wanted to teach as well, because when you look within yourself, and that's when really change happens. And then it's interesting that people around me, the people that I see that really changed their life, like they were doing something really bad, is they looked within themselves and they talk to themselves. They start to listen to their thoughts and actions, and that change came from there, and it was lasting. And so I love what you teach, because it actually works with the universe. It's not something we're not going against it, and it's like and like you were saying, you feel more happy, you feel more positive, and positive thinking, it's equals to positive life. Wow, absolutely. So wow, that's amazing. I'm just thinking how this helped me a lot as well, and I know this just works amazingly. um so that's okay. I see. And what else? Tell me more.
Which parts? The anxiety and stress management? That
Yes,
one? The
that
mini
one.
course? Okay. So connection to the mind and body is what we go into extensively. You also do a practice in there, will help you to identify with your patterns. And we have meditation practices as well. I go into a little bit when it comes to self-soothing, giving yourself a little bit of comfort, but my self-compassion part is very much to do with that. But we do cover it a little bit. So you have those strategies which will help you in the times that you're struggling. So you'll know what to do. We look at perspective thinking. We go through, see, mindfulness, connection through the mind and body, the processes of connection through the mind and body.
Oh,
And
wow.
for you to be able to break it down and then to see your connections, so you can identify with, that's why I feel this way, this is why I feel this way, but I never knew that before. But when somebody
Ah,
breaks it down, you'll start to connect the dots. And that's what it's really about, is connecting those dots so you can work out what it is. It's not just holding you, yeah, exactly, holding you back from your true authentic self. It's not just to do with breathing, which is great, and being able to do that, get into the parasympathetic nervous system, but also finding that perspective thinking, coming from a place of curiosity. So you know that this could actually be helpful. This is a non-directional practice, something that I've learned that I can put into my everyday life. So I'm struggling, I'm thinking about the worst case scenario. This could be really helpful right now to do this thing, to do this practice, which means I don't have to sit and meditate. I can just use this. And the more you start to do it, you will do it subconsciously, because that's helping to rewire non-cognitive parts of the brain. So the more you do it and you find these self-soothing phrases and all that kind of thing, your brain will just do it subconsciously, and it will come up at the right time. So you'll know what to do. That is you changing your behaviors by doing that. And
eh,
you don't have to rely on other people to help you, which is fine having that support. But when we really need to find a way to help ourselves, this is the way that I've never found before.
yeah, totally get it. When you say the mind and the body, uh, so you can really see what's the connection between both. You can see, right? You can discover it through a practice that you have on it
Yeah,
on them.
exactly. So the more you practice, you start to connect these dots. You start to know it's all to do with feeling. It's knowing what's beneath the surface and why we feel the way we do. And also, your body talks. Your body will tell you if
Mm-hmm.
if something's right or wrong. You just have to ask it the right questions. And the more you're able to do that, the more you'll start to see, connect these dots of what I've talked about before. So what is right for my body? What is just generally what is right? And when we connect inwards, we'll start to see this niggling feeling, or we talk a little bit on not so much intuition, but partly. I will have an intuition course at some point, but this is kind of in terms of connecting through what's right, what's wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and working on and you'll be more, your intuition will be more sharp, and therefore you can make a better decision. And like you're saying, you're
All
basically
about.
training your mind as well, rewiring your mind. Because since I started meditating, literally my mind has like changed forever since then, because now I'm just more aware of just my thoughts in general, like every thought I'm aware of it. And um and that absolutely just helps just heal deal with it, right? And so absolutely, wow, that's really cool. And then awesome. So and what other like if somebody is feeling so much stress now, let's say somebody's like crazy amounts of stress right now, just something happened, let's say something really bad happened, maybe the bank took, let's say, $10,000 from the your bank account because you owned it back in the day, and now you're screwed and you're stressed out. Like, what would be
That
one
can
tip or
be,
something you could do?
that's quite an extreme example, but these things can happen. The challenges in life that we have are completely unpredictable. If you can't connect to your breath, because what happens is when we feel stressed, we hold our breath. When we breathe again, it breaks the cycle of stress. So just
Mm,
remember that, breathing into the abdomen. When you feel stressed, you feel worried about anything, just breathe. Just breathe. You just need to breathe, because then it'll help you to make the right decisions. It'll switch on the prefrontal cortex and you'll start to make the right decision after that. If it feels appropriate to say, to name, I'm struggling right now, you might say that. I'm struggling right now. This is hard. The more you can name it and acknowledge it, you're not running away.
saying out loud to yourself, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And then you might say, what do I need to do right now? So then you're coming from a place, not so much solution, because you're coming from a place of feeling. The more you're able to feel into it, once you've gone through those layers, you can find a place of, what do I need to do right now? The more we reinforce and say, why is this happening to me? Why does this always happen to me? What this does is it reinforces, because you're this, because you're a failure, because you're no good. And the more we do this, it's just creating this whole cycle over and over again. I don't feel good enough. And this is the reason why. And this is the reason why I feel the way I do, and I can't change it. But when you stop saying the word why, because why is a bad question. So first step, stop saying why.
Okay. So asking why, it's a bad question. Why is
Yeah,
that?
why? If you're saying, why is this always happening to me? If you say that, why me?
Oh, why me?
Reinforcing the images, because you're this, because you're rubbish, because you can't do anything, because you're not a very good performer, whatever that is. And what that does is, because you're reinforcing it, I'm feeling anxiety right now. And then you end up feeling worse, and then you've got the thoughts, because it's the thought that leads to the emotion, that leads to the action. So what you think affects how you feel, and then the action that you take based on that. So it's really to do with that first thought that you think.
Mm. Yeah. But when you say you never ask why, but if you want to dig in and just learn about it, isn't why a good
What
question?
what what question? What question are you going to use with why? Why what?
What, for
And
example, why did this happen to me, and then figured out why? I
there we go.
mean, it's obvious.
If you use the word why, and say, why is this happening to me, or why did this happen? Why is a bad question, and it's going to tell you, because when connected to the negative bias,
Oh.
and also because of our environment and the influences around you, your reptilian brain keeps you in survival mode, and also wants to keep you safe. So just remember that. So when we're using the word why, we're reinforcing it, because you're this, or because you keep making mistakes, or you're not good enough, you might as well just quit, whatever that might be. But if you keep doing it, what is a better question? What is a better question? And that's, what can I do right now?
Love it.
What can I do right now? What do I need right now? What do I need is coming from a place of need. It's coming from a place of kindness for you, self-compassion. What do I need? What should I do right now? Yeah. So then you're coming from a place of, we close our eyes, and then you can ask your body, what do I need right now? What do I need to do right now? And it will tell you. It will tell you in some ways. It will be able to give you that direction. But when we're in a heightened state, when we don't feel calm, this is when we can't find the right solution, where it's just always going to be reinforced by negativity. But when we're a lot calmer, then we come from that place. And everybody's creative. This is what I want you to all know. Everyone's creative. You have the ability, and you have a purpose in life. We all have a purpose in life. But when we come from that place of feeling stress, feeling anxiety, why is this always happening to me? Then we can't feel connected. So we need to get into that calmer state, so we can make those better decisions, and also so we can feel more creative. Writing that book, going to that audition, going to that interview, believing in yourself, really. Because the thing
I love
is,
that.
if we don't know what's going to happen, do we? Because life is unpredictable. Also, how do you know when you're just in this familiar state? You instantly feel like nothing's going to change, because it hasn't right now. And this is what your brain's telling you, because it's just trying to keep you safe.
Wow, absolutely. Yeah, I can see that. Um, and also taking responsibility, right? Just look at what, yeah,
Hmm.
and ask the right questions. What can I do right now?
The,
Uh,
the Latin word of responsibility is respond. It's to do with responding.
mm,
It's it's for you to respond because the thing is, what we do is we react. It's either respond or react. We have two settings: responsivity or reactivity. And most of
mm.
us would just go instantly into react. In a relationship, we instantly react. Also be very opinionated because ego is getting in the way, and we're not coming from that perspective of what they think, their perspective about what they think. We're just thinking about ourselves. The more we do that, and sabotage relationships as well when we're not able to come from a new perspective. We're not allowing space for that new perspective to emerge.
Wow, that was deep. That was strong right there. Yeah, I love it. Awesome, Natasha. That was those tips and those valuable things that you've shared throughout this video are really valuable. Um, so thank you
I
so
can give
much.
one I can give one more tip when it comes to a conversation. In a conversation, connecting to your breath is the first thing. If you feel very heightened in the conversation and you know that you're going to react, just breathing in and breathing out, letting go of what you think you know, and allowing space for a new perspective to emerge, detaching yourself from the situation. So having a non-attachment to it and
Love
just
it.
allowing that space to come through and seeing if you can see from their perspective, see if you can see from their side. And the more you're able to do that, coming from that place, that perspective thinking, then it allows something new to come up. And this will actually help you in your relationship because it builds relationships.
Wow. That's a great tip right there. Absolutely. Yeah. So we can, yeah, from a space of a new perspective and looking from their point of view as well, not just from the ego. That's what's in for me all the time instead of looking at.
Me. Although there is obviously we need to meet our needs first. That's always something that you should be aware of, that there's boundaries there. So how can I meet my needs first is really important. But also their needs matter too. So how can we meet our needs if you're in a relationship? How can we both meet our needs together? And how can we find that compromise of being able to do that? Coming from a place of feeling and being able to express how you feel, which means that they will know how you feel. And if you're not able to explain that, that can be quite hard because it is to do with communication. But when we're able to express, this makes me feel anxious, or this is not okay. What's not okay? What's okay and not okay? It's not okay that you hit the table. It's not okay that you shouted at me. And it's okay. What's not okay and or what is okay. So when you can come from that place of, it's okay that you feel angry right now. This is a hard conversation. Let's see if we can work things out. So coming from a place of being able to meet your needs first and then meeting the needs of others and being able to express it with empathy.
Love it with empathy.
Yes, so
Absolutely.
I talk about this in another part of my section, connection and empathy.
Okay. So basically, people that are just with anxiety and just they are lost, and then Natasha is the perfect person to really help you uh, do better, be more aware, and just not take medicine and things like that because it just screws you up even more. I believe that's at least what happened to me with pills, like from the hospital. They were keeping me numb down, and was when I looked within myself and when I reached out to people like you that know their stuff and applied some of these things that things started to flow, and I was just feeling more happy and just more content with myself. So yeah, absolutely. Any final thoughts you want to live here for people that are with anxiety right now?
If you're feeling anxiety right now, it's okay. It's okay that you feel that. Being able to connect with yourself and and also feeling that you don't have to go alone. Accept help if you need it, but help that can help you, give you what you need in terms of strategies that you can use practically. This is what I would say when it comes to anxiety, that you don't have to stay there. Anxiety is easy to manage. If you're a sensitive person, I'm a sensitive person, if you have a lot of empathy, if you're very empathetic, then you can be prone to anxiety. And you also feel other people's emotions. But you have a way to be able to control it and also find a way to ground you as well. So through practicing mindfulness and compassion will help you using abdominal breathing. That's your first protocol when it comes to anxiety, connecting to the breath, breathing into the abdomen and breathing out. Placing one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly, breathe in and breathe out. And keep doing that, and you'll notice the difference, and it will help you in those times.
Amazing. That was amazing, Natasha. Below this video is going to be a link for Natasha's course. And you guys, if you need more help, if you need help and just guidance, then this is, and is for me, it's like no brainer. So yeah, Natasha, thank you so much for hopping by. We're gonna be doing more videos together here on the channel. Because you have a lot of knowledge, and on this you're really good at it, and I love this topic. And it's, every nowadays everybody's with stress and anxiety, and it's something that it can be fixed if you know what you're doing. um
If you do, yeah. Mm-hmm.
so thank you, Natasha, for your time, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Fabio.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash the like button. And if you know somebody that has stress and anxiety, please share this video with them. Natasha's course will be here on the link up here and also in the description section. Thanks for watching. It was a pleasure being here with you, and I will see you next time.